It's all about two bridges in Belize. One is the McCall River Bridge in Cayo, the biggest bridge in Belize. The next is the Mullins River Bridge on the Coastal Highway, which is the new freight access from Belize City for everything heading down south. You are going to learn a lot about bridge designs in Belize from M&M Engineering and see innovative construction techniques from its director, Roque Matos. You will see the building of a bridge start to finish by the men of Cisco Construction. These two companies are building the most modern bridges under contracts with the government of Belize. Projects funded in part by the Caribbean Development Bank. This television program and upcoming episodes are part of the Greatest Places on Earth TV series, produced by Steve ODell. So get ready, because you are going to learn a lot as we sit back and watch to build a bridge.
Our sponsors this week: Midwest Steel, everything steel and so much more. Rhineland Meats, the best steaks in Belize from some very smart ranchers. Caribbean Chicken, come and learn why the secret's in the taste. Western Rebuilders, the best engine rebuilding machine shop in Belize. ICB Insurance, value for your money, 17 branches countrywide. Central TV and Internet, one network, one connection. In Belize City, Joseph and Taylor Limited, materials for contractors, masonry and fabricators. Capital Factory, your one-stop producing metal roll-up doors, selling all types of metal, roofing materials, Cemex, cement, and more. Atlantic Bank, building the future together. Big Creek Port, Belize's premier container and bulk terminal port, charting the future for Belize exports by expansion. Serving Belize and supporting over 250 employees. Believe in Big Creek Port.
So last week we saw them hanging the beams with the launcher. Now this week we're going to show what happens after the beams are set. And I gotta tell you, this video was a nightmare to edit because everything was happening at the same time. There was no singular moment when only one task was being performed. It was happening over here, it was happening over there, and you'll see me running around trying to keep up with these shots. So, in no particular order, let's learn what happens after they place the beams. But keep in mind that everything is happening at the same time. So, what does happen after the beams have been placed? For one thing, it's one heck of an accomplishment. It's a good place to say, whew! The men are beginning to move around their new work environment. They're setting up safety lines, hanging platforms to work from. In the next little while, these men will build forms from one side to the other, tying the beams together, a framework of steel inside of concrete bolted to the beams. They're called diaphragms. There are 16 diaphragms in this section of the Mullins River Bridge. Formed and framed, braced and bolted, these diaphragms are ready to be cast. Men are clearing the work area and the steel is being doused with water. They're waiting for the pour. The concrete mixer is just below. The crane is in position and the bucket is filled. So many times I've watched these men set up to pour as gigantic buckets swing high overhead. 2 tons of concrete up and over, coming your way again and again until the job is done. It can't be easy to dump it into a slot 1 foot wide, but these men are pushing to get this job done, get these diaphragms poured, vibrated, smoothed, and done. On to the next one. The next task at hand requires moving these concrete slabs from point A to point B. This bridge is getting a floor almost before you know it, but watch your fingers and toes, because once they set these down, it ain't easy to move them around, so they depend on precision measurements, only allowing for an 1/8 inch crack between the slabs. Things are starting to move pretty quickly now. A group of men are working over the side, building a temporary walkway out of rough-cut lumber and plyboard. Figured into these pre-stressed concrete beams are holes at regular intervals to bolt the walkway securely to the beam. And that sound that you hear is the next crew breathing down your neck, laying the steel, pushing you to finish your job so they can do their job building this bridge. It's never enough. I've learned over time. These deck slabs are even welded together as the steel makes its way across the bridge floor like metal snakes on the move. Now, what's this fella doing with this unusual apparatus? Now, this isn't an easy one to figure out. I watched these men for a time and then finally asked them what this was. Have you figured it out yet? So yeah, it's a drill of some kind, cutting a circular chunk all the way through these 4-inch slabs. They're stealing these too. I've seen them made in the yard. But why are they boring these holes? And at regular intervals too? I never figured this one out. I had to be told. These are drain holes for the rain. It goes under the bridge. So every day for about a year or so, I followed these men building these bridges. And what I learned, you're starting to learn too. That these bridges will last a lifetime. Every inch is gone over, clearly thought out. And now you've seen it with your own eyes. You'll be down this road. You'll cross this bridge. And you can bet your life it's safe. You have been watching to build a bridge. And that's my take on it. When we return, we will hear a more technical explanation from the Director of M&M Engineering, Rocky Matos.
To build a bridge will return after these messages. We now return to build a bridge.
On this episode of To Build a Bridge, we see what happens after the beams have been placed. As soon as the beams have been placed, the first thing that occurs is that the crane sets up itself with a special jib so that it can reach all over the bridge and begin to place the precast slabs. These precast slab forms part of the deck, but they also are a working platform for the workers, and they allow them to be more safe. They will place enough deck slabs so that they can reach very close to where they are going to construct the diaphragm, which is the second important phase in this project. Diaphragms are so important because they increase the lateral strength of the bridge. Without the diaphragms, the bridge would be very weak if it encounters any forces transverse to the direction of the traffic. And so the workers begin to produce these diaphragms, which in layman terms stiffens the bridge. If a car or a big truck was driving straight and only straight, the bridge would not need a diaphragm. But because we have overtaking on bridges, we have people braking in a direction that is not parallel to the bridge, but sometimes on an angle, these diaphragms work to increase the strength of the bridge. We also have in this episode the drilling of the precast slabs. These drillings of the slabs are mainly for drainage. So as soon as the workers have placed the slabs on the bridge, they identify the drainage point, and we have a special core drill with diamond bits that drill into the hole so that the surface water from the deck can be drained under the bridge. You will notice also that the decks were welded together. This is done so that whenever the vehicles are driving over the deck, the loads are not only defined to one slab. These weld points, what they do is they take the load that is applied on one slab and it spreads it over several slabs, therefore not stressing one particular slab at a time. In addition to that, the workers had to prepare the 2 parapet walls, which is also important for them to be able to pour the sidewalks and to pour the guardrails, which were made of concrete. But the parapet wall gives them an enhanced security so that when they are working on the edge of the beam, they are safe. The final stage after placing deck slabs, preparing parapet walls, doing the reinforcement on the deck, welding the decks, drilling the holes, is basically the cleanup underneath. You know, you have little concrete here and there, you have little bubbles in the diaphragms or in the beams. So basically the workers go through the whole entire underside of the deck to clean it up. I hope you have enjoyed watching To Build a Bridge, and our next week episode we will be dealing with earthworks and the shaping and construction of the 2 approaches.